If you're looking to activate that wildcard or limitless chip in Matchday 2, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate guide in today's video. Now before we go and take a look at my Limitless and Wildcard teams for Matchday 2, I think it's important to know which teams we should be looking to target with both of these chips. As you can see, the fixtures on the left hand side, and then I've kind of put them into tiers. So tier 1 for me, probably 2 to 3 assets. Tier 2, maybe 1 to 2 assets. And then tier 3, probably maybe worth 1 or 2 potential players as well. Maybe you just have a look at them. Maybe if they've got any cheap underlying players, potentially worth going and picking up. Obviously for me, Belgium and Germany are the top 2 teams to go and target. I think the performance we saw from Germany in the opening game definitely shows that they're here to mean business as well. Obviously they're playing Hungary as well, and defensively they did leave a lot to be desired, to be honest. So I definitely think going for that double, even potentially the triple up of Germany assets is definitely worth doing in Matchday 2. Belgium yet to play at the time of recording, but they're featuring against Romania. Again, that feels like, even regardless of if they don't win in the opening game, should be a team I would be looking to target again. Switzerland were very good against Hungary. Quite a few assets stood out from that one, so they've made it into the tier 2 category as well. Ukraine, obviously they've got a decent fixture in Matchday 2. Again, yet to play in Matchday 1, so we're going to have to see how they get on in their opening game. Portugal, for the time being, are in tier 2, but I definitely think they could be one of those teams that does venture into that tier 1, especially if they put in a very good performance in their opening game. Obviously they're going to be playing Turkey. Let's see how they get on. Obviously previous international tournaments have been kind of tipped as a dark horse, and then it hasn't really worked out. So, you know, I definitely feel, especially looking at some of the data coming up as well, Portugal could be one of those teams that drifts into that tier 1 category. Croatia, originally when I obviously planned all these videos out, I did have Croatia as a tier 1 for Matchday 2. They've now drifted down to a tier 2. I wasn't overly impressed with their performance against Spain, but still created plenty of good opportunities and had decent XG. Actually beat Spain in terms of expected goals for that game. Defensively as well, some assets did stand out and got into some viable positions. So I definitely think against a weak Albania side, again, there's some assets that I definitely think we should be looking at. Serbia played England tonight, and you know what? There was opportunities there. I definitely could see there's a few players that we might potentially want to pick up as well for their game against Slovenia. Obviously, if they want any kind of hope of getting out of this group, they do need to go and pick up a win against Slovenia. And then Czech Republic as well, yet to play in Matchday 1. But again, they've got a nice fixture against Georgia. We'll have to see how Georgia look in the opening match today. But again, could be 1 or 2 nice, potentially differential assets that could stand out for people to potentially go and pick up. So let's move on. Let's take a look at some clean sheet percentage chances. Obviously, this data is coming from Elvenify. Link to all their amazing work in the description. So these are still prior to, obviously, Matchday 1, kind of, you know, all the kind of data kind of going into that. So some teams may differ. I think once, obviously, it's all updated going into Matchday 2. But at the moment, Croatia, a 52% chance. I still think they've got a very good chance of keeping a clean sheet against Albania. They didn't really create too much against Italy. Just got, obviously, that one chance from the DeMarco throw, which is massively frustrating for myself because I had double Italy defense. So yeah, hopefully Croatia, they can kind of, you know, they've got over a 50% probability of getting that clean sheet. Germany up there with a 43% chance. Again, I think that's pretty good odds as well. The likes of Mittelstadt and Tar, definitely two of the players, that I would be looking to maybe keep if I wasn't on a wild card, or if I am potentially looking to bring in. Belgium with a 41% chance. Serbia, interestingly, with a 39% probability. Czech Republic or Chechnya with a 38%. Ukraine with a 37%. Austria, interestingly, with a 35%, along with England, Switzerland in there as well. And then Portugal with a 34% probability. After that, probably not worth looking at any of these defences for me. The big ones that do stand out are Croatia, Germany and Belgium. And then I think there's some cheeky teams in there as well. Chechnya and Serbia. Ukraine, pretty decent odds as well. Obviously, I want to see how Austria get on against France. See if there are any potential defensive assets that I might want to consider. But Switzerland, definitely standing out for me. England only conceded 0.15 XG conceded against against Serbia in the opening match day. So people like Mark Gahey, Trent Alexander-Arnold, again, if he's rumoured to start in that midfield role, could be potentially decent pickups for match day 2. Moving on to predicted goals for the second match day. Portugal leading the way. Obviously, they're up against Turkey, so the odds do, the data does suggest that Portugal are definitely a team we should be looking at from an attacking standpoint. Germany up there again. Obviously, lots of high-quality assets. We saw that on Friday night as well. The likes of Musiala, Wirtz. Even though Gundogan didn't get any attacking returns, still put up pretty good underlying data. Kai Havertz, another one from them. Belgium, we've got the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Doku, obviously KDB and Trossard as well. England up there, but I think after watching that performance, I'm not too keen on any England attacking assets, to be honest. It was a little bit lackluster in front of goal for me. Some other standout teams, France still with 2, so probably worth keeping hold of Kylian Mbappe for match day 2, in my opinion. And then Croatia and Spain with 1.7. I think Croatia probably should be a little bit higher against the Albania side, but who knows as well. One of the teams that I think is a little bit low is Switzerland. I think they could potentially be a little bit higher than 1.5. Scotland looked very, very poor in the opening game, to be honest, so it wouldn't surprise me to potentially see them go and get a few goals. But yeah, that's the predicted data. If you want to use it or take any screenshots, feel free. But like I said, the link to Elvenify's website, if you want to go and check this stuff out for yourself, is in the description. Wasting no time and diving straight into our first team. We're going to look at the wildcard team first, as I do feel this is slightly more popular of a strategy for this week. I'm obviously on it as well, and this is the team that I'm currently working with. Obviously, still TBC, with teams still yet to play, and things potentially might change, but this is the team that I've built so far at the moment. We're going to start off with the goalkeeper pairing of Radkovic and Stanek. Both come in, well, one from Serbia, one from Chechnya. Both coming in at 4 million, though, which is very, very handy indeed. Obviously, Radkovic wasn't expected to play for Serbia. Did a pretty good job as well. Obviously, made a super impressive save to deny Harry Kane from scoring in that game. Stanek yet to play against Portugal in their opening game, but I'm not expecting too much. But with a positive fixture for them in match day 2, I think this goalkeeper pairing of 4 million could be a little bit of a cheat code for people on a wild card like myself, because it does allow you to go and get in some top quality players, in my opinion. So 4 million for the pair of them, both with pretty good clean sheet expected odds as well from Elvenify. So I think that for me is a little bit of a no-brainer if you are looking on the wild card. Moving into our defence, we're going to start off with Rodriguez from Switzerland. Again, another team that is expected to do quite well for clean sheet odds in this game week. I am potentially kind of tempted to maybe switch him for Mark Gahey after England's impressive performance, but for the time being, I'm going to stick to Rodriguez. 4.5 million for him, 5 ball recoveries in the game. Originally, I did have what's his name? Akanji from Manchester City. He had 11 ball recoveries in the game, but I needed that extra 0.5 million to bring in one of my bench players as well. So at the moment we are with Rodriguez, but if things do potentially change, I might be tempted to go back for Akanji. Those ball recovery numbers were absolutely phenomenal from him, but 4.5 million for Ricardo Rodriguez, I think that's a pretty fair deal, to be honest. But like I said, I am tempted with Mark Gahey in that position. Gvardiol is the next player. Could have actually scored in the game against Spain. In terms of ball recoveries, not too much to write home, and in terms of attacking data as well, his expected goal involvement was less than 0.25, so not overly impressive, but from an eye test perspective was bombing down that left hand side and did obviously get one opportunity. I think against a weaker Albania defence, hopefully he can do something there. DeMarco as well was causing absolute problems down that left hand side in the first game against Albania for Italy, so hopefully Gvardiol can replicate that one. Next player is going to be Mittelstadt, obviously the 4 million GOAT that we all know and love at this point. Picked up an extra point for ball recoveries and was very unfortunate not to come away with a clean sheet in the opening match day. Obviously Germany conceded to Scotland from an own goal, and I think they actually finished the game with 0 expected goals conceded, so massively frustrating from him. But in terms of his attacking data as well, it was pretty decent. An expected goal involvement of 0.41. That was more than Musiala and Wirtz in the opening game, so definitely a player I think people are potentially underestimating going into this game. Again, they were third or second, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, for in terms of predicted clean sheet odds as well. So again, very happy to have Mittelstadt in this back line. Then we have Konipler. Again, apologies for pronunciations. He's from Ukraine. They've got a 37% chance of keeping a clean sheet in match day 2. So again, we'll have to see how they get on tomorrow afternoon, but for 4.5 million, again, seems like one of those players that's a little bit of a no-brainer. I think especially from learning from this first match day, it doesn't seem like big at the back is overly important, and picking these cheaper players up that do get good ball recovery numbers and the potential for a clean sheet might be potentially the way to go, rather than going for these more premium kind of assets. But that's what we're going for with the back line in terms of the starters. On the bench, we do have Wout Fass at 4 million. Again, Belgium yet to play, but for 4 million to get one of the best defences, and in terms of probability of a clean sheet as well, again, just seems like a little bit of a no-brainer to me, to be honest. Right, let's move on into our midfield. We're going to start off with the starters. We do have Majir, however you want to pronounce it, from Croatia. I think he was probably the most impressive attacker out of that side. I think Modric at 7.5 is a little bit too steep for me personally. Had okay-ish ball recoveries. I think he picked up 5 in the end. A 6.8 rating on FOTMob as well. Again, wasn't overly impressed with him, but up against Albania, you do expect an improved Croatia performance. And like I said, they did actually win that game on XG, so I think it does bode well for Croatia going into this game against Albania. He's in there, but as you can see, there's some big hitters on the bench if he doesn't turn up. We're going to obviously go for the double pairing of Germany midfielders. Again, they were up there for predicted goals according to Elvenify's model. Florian Wirtz did pick himself up a goal in the opening game. I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't pick him up in match day 1, but my other alternative pick that I did go for, Christian Eriksen, also got himself a goal, got himself the man of the match award as well. So again, yeah, it worked out in the end. Somehow. We still have Ilkay Gundogan as well in this squad. He's going to be captain for the opening game. Not on penalties, it looks like, which is frustrating, of course. But in terms of his expected goal involvement, it was 0.61. That was more than Florian Wirtz, Mittelstadt, and Musiala all combined. So a little bit frustrating, and probably one of those where it feels a little bit unlucky. I get why people are obviously maybe a little bit put off by him not having the penalties, but he still got in some good positions and still created plenty of opportunities for that Germany side. So I'm very, very happy to have him. Then moving on to the two bench players. KDB and Bruno Fernandes both feel like massive big hitters to have in this wildcard side. Obviously, very, very good fixture for Belgium against Romania. Yet to play, so we're going to have to see how KDB performs in that opening game. Obviously, Trossard is a player that I did go for on my first, obviously, match day squad. So maybe he could come in as well. That would give us 1.5 million, and there would be upgrades made to the likes of maybe Major, some defenders as well. Probably go for a Kanji and stuff like that if KDB isn't looking very kind of ferocious, if you like, in match day 1. Same again with Bruno Fernandes. It is hard to comment, but with Portugal being the best attacking team in terms of predicted goals for match day 2, I'm very, very happy to have him. It does feel like this could potentially be his tournament. Again, yet to play in match day 1, but we're going to have to see how he does perform in that one. Right, let's move on to our 3 attackers. Obviously, we're going to have Cristiano Ronaldo in here. Again, yet to play, so it's pretty hard to comment on his performances. But like I said, with Portugal being, you know, one of the top teams for predicted goals in this match day 2, I definitely think having their key talisman is definitely worth going for on penalties as well. So for me, feels like a no-brainer. Romelu Lukaku, again, it is hard to comment, but again, Belgium are one of the top attacks in the league for predicted goals going into match day 2. He again is on penalties, so again feels like a little bit of a no-brainer. And then finally, Kylian Mbappe, despite them having a difficult fixture against Holland, I definitely think there were some defensive frailties on display against Poland today, especially from set pieces. So maybe Kylian Mbappe could be one of those players that could exploit them as well. Obviously, with them having the likes of Ake as the left back, that potentially could be an area that France do look to exploit with a little bit of pace and maybe some balls in behind as well. Again, not played, so it is obviously quite hard to comment on what he's doing so far in the tournament, but for me that feels like quite a good attacking front three, all with very high probability of scoring, all with pretty good numbers as well in terms of predicted goals for match day 2. So that was the wildcard side. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below, and let's take a look at my limitless draft. And moving on to our second team of today's video. This one is going to be for the Limitless Draft. If you don't know what that is, obviously the Limitless chip does allow you to have unlimited budget, which, you know, has made this team pretty filthy, to be honest. Obviously, we're going to keep the same front three. Like I said, that does feel like probably the best attacking three in the league. So we're going to just run through the changes that I have made to the side. We've gone for Casteels and Lunin in goal. Like I said, Belgium, pretty good predicted odds for them to keep a clean sheet. Same with Ukraine as well. And what it does allow us to do is free up some other spots for better, in terms of kind of numbers, I think, and potentially a little bit more pricey defenders as well. So we've got Akanji, like I said, ball recoveries. He is currently leading the way for those in the game. 11 ball recoveries for him. They're up against Scotland with a 35% chance of keeping a clean sheet according to Elvenify's model. And I definitely think after looking at Scotland in that opening game, that could be a lot higher as well. So I would be very happy to have Akanji in the side. We've also got Trent Alexander-Arnold in there. I thought he had a pretty decent game in midfield as well. 7 points for him. Obviously on quite a few set pieces as well for England. Wasn't afraid to take a shot or play that progressive pass from midfield. So it does feel like for 5.5 million, England with okay, you know, 35% chance of a clean sheet against Denmark as well. Pretty good defensive data as well from the game against Serbia. So it does feel like England, again, could be one of these top teams for defences. And Trent Alexander-Arnold in here as well, with that little bit more of an attacking flair over the other defenders, sorry. So he could be a decent option. Then we've got João Cancelo in here. Portugal, again, have pretty good defensive odds for match day 2 as well. And with Cancelo, you obviously are going to get that little bit more attacking threat, and also gives us that triple Portugal kind of attack up, if you like, as well. The other changes, 2 in midfield. I spoke about Modric. I wasn't overly impressed with his performance against Spain, but he is the key kind of penalty taker, free kick taker, corner taker, everything like that does go through Modric as well. So when you've got this Limitless chip, it does feel a little bit of a waste not to go for a player, sorry, that is taking absolutely everything as well. So for me, just feels a little bit like a no-brainer. And then we've upgraded Gundogan to Musiala. But like I said, Gundogan had better expected goal involvement than both Vert and Musiala combined. So that is just something to potentially bear in mind if you are looking at maybe, you know, going for that double pairing. But he obviously had a standout performance, a goal and assist, and picked up the Man of the Match award in the opening match day. Looked very good as well. So definitely a player I would be considering. Obviously, the only downside I think of going with Vert and Musiala is it does look like both of them very easily could come off in the 60th, 70th minute, whereas it feels like Gundogan is probably going to see a little bit more minutes. But, you know, minutes aren't everything. It's what you do within them, to be honest. Obviously, the other midfielders we've not mentioned, KDB and Bruno Fernandes as well. But, yeah, that was the Limitless draft as well. Let me know what you think of that one down in the comments section. If you've got any questions for me about your team or anything in terms of the game in general, get them in the comment section below and I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this match day.